So don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video.
Good afternoon everyone, it's Ian here. Mike's downstairs, he's already sorted my Valentine's card out. I'm going to make him a Valentine's, what would I call it, mixed media thing. I have these hearts I've had for ages, have the bottom cut off. It was something I'd made for my friend Helen. So I'm going to make a Valentine's type assemblage piece. I've already picked the paper I'm going to use, and I've got a lot of ephemera and bits and bats which I won't need to distress, so let's get cracking. So first of all I'm going to put this to one side and I'm going to paint the heart shape. I'm painting at the edges and I'm going to use cherry red from Deco Americana paints. I love the colour, it's just a little bit I must shake it up. Got to shake it up. Mike told me about this. There we go. There we are. I just really want to paint the edges and the back because the front's going to be covered in paper completely. So I just want to give it a little, tiny little bit of colour on it. Not a lot, because I'm going to distress the edges with some archival ink or some vintage photo distress ink. I just really want to make it so it looks nice and tidy on the edges. There we go. It has a vintagey feel anyway with it being black. Basically I'm just trying to just give the edge a little bit of colour rather than just leaving it black. I think it looks a little bit more finished. A little bit more. There we are. I'll come back to you when I've finished. We'll fast forward over this, but you don't have to literally watch paint dry, do you? Okay, so that's all dry now. I've just got a little bit of paint on the edge. I just want to put a little bit more on just to give it a little bit more colour. Yeah, that's better. Much better. As you see, it's covering a lot better now because it's sealed in. There we go. I'm not worried about the front because I've got some paper to stick on there. Some lovely William Morris style paper. A bit more paint and then we can get on to the exciting bit, which is the sticking together. There we are. A bit on the bottom. There we are. That is 10 times better than it was. It was a bit too thin was the paint. I know it's vintage but I'm a bit finicky like that. Mike laughs at me because it has to be my take on vintage, tidy vintage. Like the junkish journals. I can't do a junk journal, it has to be a junkish journal. It just doesn't work for me. There we are. I'll just try those and I'll be back again. Right, so that's all painted on the back. Got to a little bit of a vintagey feel to the edges. I'm just going to get a wet wipe, wherever he's put them. Put that to one side and wash that in a moment. Oh, I see the wet wipes. They're under the, excuse the back of the head. They're actually under the, where the camera is. Since we've moved, I'm not very good at finding stuff in here. There we go. I've got to wash this off because if I keep it on, it'll be very cross, and then I've just got to take it off so I can use the cutting mat. Yet again, if I'm not careful and I cut through it, I will be Mr. Totally Unpopular. I've done it before as well, so I've got to be careful, don't do it again. There we go. Right. Okay, so we've now got the love heart. and I have my paper. On the back of the paper, this is the William Morris paper I've got. I've also got the sticky on the back that we use when we do our journals. So is there a little cutting mat? No, there isn't. I shall just lift this one out of the way. I moved it yesterday and I stuck it on the wall next to where we sit, and Mike spent 20 minutes looking for it. I didn't think it could be on the wall. There we are. There we are. Back to the blue background. Okay, so what I want to do is just to make sure I have it level, I'm just going to trim a little bit off the bottom of the A4 sheet. Then I can line up my heart with the pattern. So what I'll do, I'll just chop it down a little bit. I should keep this, of course. We can use this for other bits and bobs. There we go. Right, I'll just take the back off. This is not the very strong adhesive, but it is self-adhesive. Okay, so that's the bottom. Yes, it is. So I'll just line my pattern up, probably about there. There we are. So I'll just push it down around the edges so it sticks. Okay, then I'll get my scalpel. I'm just going to trim carefully around the outside. Not pushing too hard, so I don't really want to be cutting into the heart itself. There we are. Thing is, I've now got to cut backwards. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. And then into there and around there again. There we are. I'm going to distress the edges when I get to it as well, so you won't see a white paper edge on it. Oopsie daisy. Fortunately I haven't pulled the paper off. There we are. There we are. So I'm not running my finger down, I'm going to run my nail down, because if I run my finger down it's going to cut me. So there we are. What you can do as well, I've got Mike's little nail file, and because it's toner it will just come off a little bit. Don't go too far with it, just want to distress the edges a little bit. You see there's just a very faint distress edge there. I think Mike's going to have some of these as downloads on his website, the William Morris papers as thinkies. I'm not sure, we did talk about it, but excuse me if I'm wrong. There we are. Okay, so we've now got our William Morris type background. I'm going to use just the ordinary Distress Ink Vintage Photo just to go around the edges, because I don't really want it to look terribly new. I want it to be a bit vintage like me. Of course it works beautifully with the red at the edge, and it picks up the reddy browns in the paper there on the flowers. There we are. You know how naughty I am? Well, it looks like a pair of buttocks. Anyway. Carrying on. So I'll just go around the edge. Okay, so that's our background. Onto that I've got some ephemera that I've printed out and made up. I've got Bentley and his daddy. I've got an old piece of a journal. I've got a bit of ephemera, and I've got some rail tickets. Thing is, I've got one rail ticket and it says Happy Valentine's Day on it, so that's going to be sticking out. I'm going to tuck them all in, and I've got a very large stamp which I'm going to put on there as well. So to start with, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go around the edges and distress the edges. Can I use this mat? No, I can't, can I? I think I'm going to have to just borrow the mat back a moment. Now I finish cutting out. There we go. So I don't really want to get any dirt onto the worktop. His purple, his blue mat, it's his pride and joy at the moment. I don't really want to be making a mess of it. It'll be the last Valentine's card I ever send. There we are. And not so much card as a piece of ephemera. So I'm just going to curl the corners. So I'm just going to use my scalpel. I'm just going to curl them over like that. Just so it gives it a little bit of interest. I think I'm going to tuck it in that way, so I'll bend this one as well. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to distress the edge. So it looks like it's been out of a drawer for ages. There we are. There we are. Do it on the end there. So now we've got a piece of paper that looks a little bit scruffy. So that's going to go something like that, I think. But we'll do the old dictionary page as well. So I'm just gonna yeah, that's nice. Maybe just flick the edge up a little bit. There we go. And then of course it's been dirty, so we'll just dirty the edges up. Doesn't matter about that. Looks quite nice, that little accident there. I think it's just to make it look a little bit older. A little bit more worn. As we all get older, we all get a little bit more worn, don't we? There we are. Then I have Bentley with his daddy, and that's going to go on the front. So I'm just going to roll the edge just very lightly with my fingers like that. Don't want to be too heavy with it. There we go. Just to stop it looking just like it's pieces of paper just plonked on top of each other. It really just needs a little bit to give it a little bit of life. That's those three. And we've got, I don't know if I'm going to use the postage stamp yet, but I'm just going to distress the edges. Might just be a little bit big, but hey, hey ho. And we've got the little rail tickets. Now a bit of a twist, as though they've been kept in somebody's pocket. There we are. There we go. And then the last but not least is the one that says Happy Valentine's Day on it. I was going to do this in the week, but I got a bit sidetracked as usual. Bend them a little bit. And on the back just a little bit. There we are. I think that's all the bits that I need. So let's think about putting it together. I want to make sure that you can still read things. So it's based on a heart, but I think it's not going to look terribly hearty, but it doesn't really matter, does it? And I get all the background stuck together, all the bits stuck on. So what am I going to use? What have we got here? Matte medium. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the Elmer's glue, the purple glue. This one. I've used it before. Nothing went terribly wrong with it, so I'll have another bash. It's only just paper, it's not anything heavy or anything too three-dimensional. There we go. So we'll put that. It's nice because it slides around a little bit as well. There we are. That's that one. Then there's, What I'm going to do, I think, is when I put that underneath that certificate, or that one, I think it just works a little bit better if it goes under. But with it being wet glue, all I need to do is lift it up and slide it under. And that's got the glue under it anyway. We'll finesse it when we've finished. Then we know where the bits will be that are stuck up in the air. Can't help myself, sorry. Okay, so we've got Mikey and Puppy Dog there. I want to pop that just there like that, sticking out. I think I'm going to put Mike onto some foam dots, which I've got here. So I'll just move that up. So 1, 2, 3. Then I can tuck the little bits of ephemera underneath by just putting the dots on the edges and then put a large one in the middle. I've then got space to tuck things in without interfering with the dots. There we are. There we go, nearly all off. There we are. Nearly all off, yeah. Okay, so just bring that back down in. Oh, Bentley's come to see me. I can hear him running up the stairs. Okay, so now I've got my Happy Valentines. I'm going to put that in there. So a little bit more of the Elmer glue. Musical glue, excellent. Now I'm just going to put that out. I want it to be straight on. Like that. Then I've got my stamp. I think the stamp's a bit big, but I think I might just pop it under there. Just bend it back on itself. There we are. There we are. A little bit of glue under there. There we are. And that will just go tuck under there. Like that. I'm very conscious just to keep the word Happy Anniversary to be quite a level word that just stands on its own. And I've got my tickets, which I think we cut out a minute ago. A little bit more glue on there. Stuck up there. I don't know whether I'm going to use the other one or not. I think it might just be overkill. I think it's going to be overkill. I think that is exactly what I want. So I've got my very three-dimensional. I've also got a little rack. Found a little rack. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stand it onto the rack when I give him it. So there we go. So that's my little bit of a project. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. It's only been a little bit of a bit flotsam and jetsam, but thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again real soon. Thank you. Bye.
I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.